Hey everybody, welcome to our first episode of Rainer the Dog Trainer YouTube channel. And we had a dog training channel on YouTube called Peeps and Poops, but I'm getting jacked on coffee here. But Baxter's like set up this one called Rainer the Dog Trainer because we're dog trainers, we breed boxers. With this channel, I think we're going to kind of get into some of the other things we're interested in doing as well. But the basis is the dog training stuff, just because we're passionate about the dogs. See, these are Baxter's. Hey, Baxter. These are Baxter's dog pillows. So anyway, yeah, we have a dog training channel on YouTube, and it's called Peeps and Poops. And our buddy Pete, hey Pete, he's like, yeah, okay, I get the concept. The big dog is Poops and the little dog is Peeps, and that's all cute and fine and dandy. But he's, Pete told me like early on, you might want to, check in the search. If people search for Peeps and Poops, you might want to see what comes up on. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, but Peeps and Poops. If you want to see our Peeps and Poops channel, it's Peeps N, letter N, Poops. That's the dog training channel. But when I finally got around to doing a search, Peeps and Poops, in the YouTube, I was like horrified. The the stuff that comes up on the whole Peeps and Poops search in YouTube is just disgusting. And it's like, who's watching this? I mean, some of it's funny, but it's kind of like that, it's kind of the poo-poo caca doo-doo humor, the stuff that you don't want your 11-year-old boy doing. It's like, clean up your act. And so our channel is Peeps and Poops. So that kind of took the wind out of my sail. But it's the dog training, Rainer the Dog Trainer. I'm Big Rainer, Baxter's little Rainer. We do our dog training thing. And so today's the first episode. We're just going to get this channel going and post it and start seeing what's happening. So we are going to do the dog training stuff. But we're also passionate about other things. We're watermen. We're anything that has to do with ocean and boats and fishing and diving. We're all about that, ocean kayaking, ocean. We're passionate about that. We're very passionate about our faith. Baxter and I, actually, Sunday is the first service at our churches. Our church is the Oasis Church in Stockton. And this Sunday is going to be the first services at the new location. So if you're in the Stockton, Modesto, if you're in the area, you can come over to, it's on Hammer Lane. The Oasis City Center is now going to be where they're having the services. So this is going to be the first services over there, 9 o'clock service, 11 o'clock service, years, and we're part of the theater group over there that put on these performances and such. So we love it, and we love these people. So come on over. And then the other thing is, like, Baxter's very into Airsoft, which Airsoft is not my thing. It kind of freaks me out to see my 11-year-old boy dressed up in combat stuff with these very realistic, they're very realistic guns. I have this. These are the BBs that they shoot. They're like little plastic BBs, and they hurt. So they wear their, combat stuff and their protective, eyewear and stuff. And this is, Baxter's like, hey, get out of my stuff. This is Baxter's Airsoft gun, right? Check this thing out. It looks real, and it's heavy. Okay, this is Airsoft. And so imagine your 11-year-old boy dressed up in combat stuff running around with this. But, hey, when I was a 11-year-old boy, we used to play Army in the backyard, and our guns were like sticks, Pew, 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 you're dead. No, you're not. And then they turn into swords, and then pretty soon it's like you're grabbing persimmons, and then you have to grab a trash can lid to defend yourself, and you have to, can't carry this sword. I better start, we're throwing persimmons and oranges. So we did the same thing when we were kids, And there's a little group of like 11, 12, 13-year-olds over there. They So there's all these like bigger, older dudes that are playing airsoft, and then there's a group of like short ones that are running around. So I let him do it. Baxter is passionate about airsoft. He knows so much about all that stuff. Not my cup of tea, but he's passionate, so I let him do it. When I was 11 years old, I was passionate about scuba diving. Everybody said the same thing. Don't let your boy go scuba diving. It's dangerous ocean, scuba tanks, you know. My dad got us certified to scuba dive when I think we were 9 and 10, my brother and I. And I've just been a diving fanatic ever since. Kind of got into like free diving, so you don't have to carry all the big heavy tanks and stuff. And, but anyways, yeah, ocean and airsoft and training dogs and, you know, our faith. And we're over here. The other thing I'd like to say is Susan Cook, our very dear friend, Susan Cook. This is Susan Cook here. She's the blonde, and that's another one of her family members, Kazuko, which Kazuko is no longer with us, unfortunately. I didn't get to meet Kazuko. But Susan Cook, she is a dog rescue person, and she's a dog trainer rescuer. She rescues dogs, dog trainers, cats. I think she's a saint. And right now, she works IT at Amazon, and she did an extra shift over there at the warehouse and ended up catching COVID. And then the air conditioner was broken in this 100-degree weather, and she just was exhausted. So it's like we checked her into the hospital, and so she's in the hospital. So I'm asking everybody out there if you would please just say a prayer for Susan Cook for a quick recovery. And she's laying in the bed over there, 100% oxygen mask on, and she's getting some steroids to bring down the inflammation in her lungs. And so we're praying for a quick recovery for Susan Cook, if you guys could do that. And then the other thing is, I'll show you Susie. This is Susie. This is Susan's first rescue. Susie, come here. Here, sweetie. And Kazuko, come here, Susie. Good girl, what's up? Hi, sweets, come here. So this is Susie. Hi, sweets. So she's a Corgi Chihuahua. And this is the first dog that Susan rescued. And so Kazuko had Susie. And Susie was... Susie had 13 infected teeth. She was having problems with her skin. She was in an apartment where she was just barking at everybody. She's quite mellow now. Where she was barking at everybody. And Kazuko needed to go to the hospital, and her dog was over there alone. And so they had brought the dog to the shelter. And Susan said she sat down and she thought, get that dog. So she called the shelter and said, don't do anything with the dog. I'm going to come get the dog. Then she was visiting with Kazuko. And Kazuko said, oh, my dog, the dog's to the shelter. They're going to put the dog down. Susan's like, no, I called and I said, I'm adopting that dog. We're going to go pick up the dog. You want to come with me? This might have been like before Kazuko ended up in the hospital or in and out of the hospital. I just know the gist of the story. I didn't even get to meet Kazuko, unfortunately. But so Susan rescued little Susie, and they went and picked up Susie, brought her to the vet, 13 teeth pulled, right? Just kind of like Rainer. I just had 2 teeth pulled. Yeah, hey, Susie, we're teeth pull buddies. So she's had 13 teeth pulled. She had all the ointment and the good stuff on her skin. Her coat is absolutely beautiful now. And this was Susan Cook's first little rescue. And this set Susan into this mode of like, no dogs are going to be put down on my watch. And so we've had quite a few dogs, here, dogs in and out. On top of all that, my son and I came over here to live with her and do her dogs and her personal assistant stuff. And I was doing all of her driver and actually chauffeur stuff for a while. But then we brought we brought our boxers in and started breeding boxers. So it's been a lot of dog stuff. But so this is Susie. She started the whole Susan Cook Animal Rescue Ranch thing. And so Susie had changed Susan's life, you know. If anybody's out there thinking about getting a dog, go to the shelter and be careful of what kind of breed you pick. Be careful of what kind of breed you pick, because you want something, you want a pup that's going to work for you and your family. But Susie, she just kind of landed in Susan's lap. So thank you, Susie. Susie's freaking out. She's like, you don't let me on the furniture. She's a 4 on the floor dog. But so today's little dog training ramble I'm going to talk to you about, and hopefully Susan's going to be watching this too, is Susie would go in the back, and in the back area, Susan has her space and her bed and her bathrooms and all that. It's in the back. And so I don't have access to Susie. I don't have access to back there in her space. But Susie will be back there, and Susie will be up on the bed, and then I'll let the boxers in the back. And the boxers are like, let's go see the Susie show, right over to the glass. And Susie's like, I'm the alpha. I'm going to show you who's boss. Rah, 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 rah. Susie's continuously barking out the glass at the boxers. Okay, so I don't have access to Susie. I can't go back there in Susan's space. First thing we did was we put a piece of cardboard about, yay high. So there's no visual. So the boxers go looking for her. Susie's at the glass. They can't see each other. Of course, it's glass and it's closed off, so they can't smell each other. But they can bark, and the problem is you got to keep Susie next to you. You can't let Susie go flying off the bed over to the glass, and then pretty soon you got boxers in the backyard. Yay, Susie! And she's like, rah, rah, rah. So how do you deal with this one? Okay, this is tricky. I actually figured this one out, which most of this dog training stuff is stuff that I've learned from John Flanagan and his mentor. But this one, it's like, okay, so Susie needs to stay up on the bed with Susan. I don't let the dogs up on the bed. Susan does. Okay, so I'm thinking, what are you going to do? Are you going to tie Susie to the bed? Well, you're not going to tie Susie to the bed. However, what if we take the lead? So we just got a little 5-foot lead from the dollar store. So it's clean. It's like the on the bed leash. Susie's up on the bed. Susan goes click. And as soon as you put that lead on the dog, that means what it's telling the dog is you are going to stay within 4 or 5 feet from me. So as soon as it's like click on her collar, she goes, I know what that means. That means I can only physically be this far away from you. And I was thinking Susan's going to have to wrap it around her wrist, and Susie will go and pull at it. And no, that's not the case. As soon as that thing got clipped on her collar, Susie was like, I know, I can't go more than 4 or 5 feet away from you. And Susie settled down and stayed next to Susan. When she's back there with Susan, up on the bed, click, that leash goes on, and Susie stayed right there next to Susan. No more of this rah, 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 charging at the glass and banging and barking at the other dogs outside. And then everybody's barking. Then Rainer has to go out there and get the boxers and, bring them in and go to your place, and you be in the crate and chill out, bring the excitement level down so Susan can sleep. She works night shifts, so she sleeps during the day. And it worked. What it reminded me of is, in Thailand, when you have a baby elephant and you want the baby elephant to stay next to that post down in the dirt. Well, and there's your bananas and your water and your stuff. Stay right here, baby elephant. The baby elephant's like, no, I want to run all over the place. So the baby elephant's pulling, and they start out with a chain around. It's not a cruelty thing. It's a training thing. But the chain is around the back leg of the elephant, whatever, 6-10 feet of chain, and then it's around the post. So the baby elephant's like, oh gosh, I have to stay here because I'm chained to the post. And then the baby elephant gets that in its head. And then as the elephant turns into this big, giant, strong, giant elephant, the Thais, they just go, come here, elephant. And they put like a little rope, woo, and then the rope around the post. And the elephant is like, okay, I know what this means. This means I could be pulling here all day on the big chain. I can't get away from the post. But as the elephant gets big and knows that it can't do that, all they need to do is put a little bit of rope on the elephant's back leg that signifies, don't go running all mully-gully through the village and all that. You stay right here by your post and your bowl of bananas and your water. And so that's how they train these elephants to stay put in Thailand. And it's the same thing with Susie. She knows that that lead means she's not going to take off and go running through the neighborhood. The lead means she's going to stay right next to who's ever walking her. So it's going to mean the same thing. If Susan's laying down sleeping, you clip the lead, but to the dog, it means the same thing. You stay within 4 feet of the owner. So it worked. So if you have a dog that's like going to charge over and bark outside the glass and all that stuff, and you want to let the dog know, hey, don't go blasting over at the glass, barking at people, barking at dogs. Don't go doing this. The watchdog thing is fine when they're on duty watchdog thing. But if you don't want the dog to do this, and you're one of those people that puts dogs on the furniture, I'm not into it. I'm a 4 on the floor. Dogs stay. They can go to their place. They can go to their pillow. They can go to their place. They go to their pillow. But if you do let the dog on the bed and you don't want it blasting over to the glass door, click, put a lead on the dog, and that signifies to the dog, you cannot go further than 4 feet away from me. So that's today's ramble. And hey, Baxter, thank you very much for setting up this Rainer the Dog Trainer YouTube channel. And if you guys like and subscribe, that helps the channel. And we will, hey, maybe we'll see you at the Oasis Church on Sunday. And if not, we'll see you next time. Poof!